I'm right, you're wrong. Avoiding conflict is wrong.
Okay, so I want to debate with you about arguing, like whether avoiding conflict is right or wrong. So you debate with me about why it's right.
Okay.
Ready, set, debate.
Okay, I'm right, you're wrong. Avoiding conflict is wrong. I think there is no moral, ethical, or logistical justification for avoiding conflict. It is the cornerstone of everything that we do in our lives. It's the reason we are alive. I think avoiding conflict is what breeds a lot of further conflict in the future. It's what creates a lot of chaos. It breeds disinformation. It impacts the way that we look at history. It fucks with our personal relationships. It messes with our brains. I think people have become incredibly conflict averse and really afraid to just show each other their teeth. I am not advocating for being contrarian. I don't believe in devil's advocate. I'm not talking about people who are arguing over whether a hot dog is a sandwich or whatever else. Like, that's not what I mean. I mean arguing about things that matter, having conflict with your friends, sorting it out, talking to each other very clearly and directly about the things that hurt you and the things that you need, and forgiving each other so that you can move forward. But you can't even do that if you don't.
Wow! That was perfect!
Thanks.
Okay, we've had the best guest of the podcast yet. The timing was phenomenal.
I was in debate club.
Oh, okay, you left that part out.
Yeah, but it's like Canadian debate club, so what does that count?
That's so funny. Well, apparently a lot.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's it's like a good conversion.
Yeah,
for us,
exactly.
For once.
For once. No, that was perfectly timed, and you made a lot of really good points. And now I have to say the complete opposite.
Okay,
but
yeah, let's hear it.
I'm gonna do it.
You really painted yourself in a fascinating corner with this show that you have to argue the antithesis of.
Yeah,
what people
because
bring.
I mean, ironically, it is kind of the point of what you're making. Well, you said that you don't want to argue about like whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not, but like the point of the podcast is to start with those light topics and then get into it deeper.
The other.
Yeah, because
I mean, the reason I don't like that fight is because a hot dog is not a sandwich; it's its own thing.
Yeah,
and that is what bothers me.
A hot dog is its own thing, and also one of my favorite things.
Yes, I love a hot dog.
I love a hot dog. Although I did learn the hard way. Probably best not to eat the ones from the carts.
Yeah, they're called roulette dogs.
Oh, I didn't know that. The other day, I was like, last summer actually, the other day, I was walking around New York City and I was like, oh, I would love a hot dog right now.
Yeah, you can't, like, literally, I mean, you can do, I've eaten them, but I say every fourth one is not going to stay in your body very long. Like,
no, I learned the hard way.
Yeah, you don't know which one it's going to be.
Well, because I'm used to LA hot dogs and those are like fresh, delicious, like wrapped in bacon.
Everything you just said was so offensive to me.
Sorry.
An LA hot dog. I don't know what to make about that.
Well, have you ever had an LA dog?
Yeah, but I don't want it. I hate LA.
I do too. Let's get that clear.
I don't think they do anything right.
This
is like people being like, have you had an LA bagel? Fuck off. I don't need one.
I agree, but have you had an LA dog from like
Dodger Stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine. No, listen.
It's wrapped in bacon. And it has fresh onions and a pepper on top.
Yeah, I mean, but then I'll just go to Chicago and I'll get a proper Chicago dog.
It's not a Chicago dog, it's an LA dog.
I don't want that.
Well, that's a you problem. I will stand up my ground on this.
Where there are good hot dogs, I will say, is Toronto because the carts grill them.
The carts grill them.
No, here that's often in
LA.
Water. Yeah, I know, but I don't want the things on the hot dog.
Well, maybe you just don't like Latin American culture.
Yeah, I'm racist.
Yeah.
I'm glad we came back.
We always have to come back to
I
politics.
don't. It's true.
Yeah.
I want it on record.
Yeah. Well, because Latin America, huge on hot dogs. Venezuela, Colombia, we do little chips on our hot dogs.
Yeah, that I'm open to.
Yeah.
I think I just don't like onion that much.
Yeah.
Or bacon, honestly. I'm not
Yeah,
crazy about
if you're not a bacon or onion girl, then it's not.
I just want a simple hot dog, little ketchup and mustard. Maybe like a
you want like a New York dog.
Yeah, I want a New York dog.
Yeah.
My mouth is watering.
Yeah. Well, you can get the Nathan's dogs on the street though. Those are good.
Yeah, but they're this big.
Yeah, they're tiny.
The Nathan dog is very small.
Yeah, but at least it's not like.
I only do that in Coney Island.
Yeah.
I get a Nathan's at Coney Island. Maybe sometimes in the park.
Yeah, I just wish the street hot. I literally can't even talk about them without throwing up. Like,
you're getting gaggy.
Yeah.
Roulette dogs.
Yeah.
I can't believe you presenting it like new information. I'm like, yeah, they're designed to kill you.
I didn't know that because I would have thought that it was like the simplest thing to make.
No, it's full of like pigeon meat.
Okay. Yeah, that's disgusting. I can't even talk about it anymore. But I am going to debate you. I'm going to argue that avoiding conflict is actually right.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, ready? Set, go. I'm right, you're wrong. Avoiding conflict is right, actually, because you're talking about a world where we have so much conflict that we need conflict to resolve. But what if we lived in a world where there was no conflict? If we all agreed, there could be a world in which there was peace. Why do you need conflict to express how you feel? Maybe that's the problem, right? Is that because we are so used to conflict, we think that expressing our feelings, our true emotions, means conflict. It's like, what if I say, hey, you know what, hot dogs, I didn't know that they were bad. You know? I didn't know it. Why does that have to be conflict? Why do we have to attack each other about that? We can just agree to disagree in a peaceful way. Unfortunately, conflict can also lead to violence.
Yeah.
And violence is famously bad. So we live in a world where if we simply just avoided conflict, we actually wouldn't have war. We wouldn't have bad things, and I am out of time.
Violence is bad.
That's,
I'm actually pro-violence. So
yeah.
It's like,
okay.
That's so funny.
I like that. Pro-violence.
It's funny too. I mean, people really view conflict as a bad thing. Like,
yeah.
Apparently, that it is negative. I just don't view it that way.
I agree, and it's taken me so long to get there because I feel like I've oscillated between like the two extremes, which is like I was so pro conflict. Like I was one of those people in middle school who was like, if you aren't telling everyone the truth 100% of the time,
then
like,
you're lying.
Then you're lying, which I later learned not a good look.
No, that's being an asshole.
Yeah.
I used to do that too.
Yeah. So I was like super honest all the time, super conflict, like, and then I learned that sometimes you can just kind of like keep things to yourself. But then I became conflict like avoidant, which is unfortunately I think like white violence. Like I feel like
this is what colonialism did to us.
Exactly, because it's this thing where like you create a space where you don't see the conflict, but you're literally like murdering people in cold blood out of sight.
Yeah. Well, and viewing conflict as negative is also very white.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of certainly in my family, a lot of brown families, it's like you just have the fight and then we'll deal with it late. Like we'll deal with it then.
Yeah.
But I was saying earlier, like I'm fighting with my mother, but I'm fighting with my mother. There's no like passive aggressive. I'm always mystified by women and their moms who have these like weird passive aggressive, like my mom's mad at me. So we're like not talking about the fight, but I have to go home at Easter and she's handling it by like putting me at a weird spot at the table.
Yeah.
Like that sort of stuff is like, oh, my mom would have just thrown a shoe at me. And I prefer that, frankly. It has like made sense of my worldview, certainly. But I don't see anything wrong with it as long as both parties are able to have a fight and move on.
Yeah.
The problem is most parties are not able to have a fight and move on. People hold grudges pretty tightly. People are not willing to own up to their part in anything. Nobody wants to apologize, myself included. I'm not saying that I'm suddenly saintly on this, but I think that's on the personal level. And then on the political level, I mean, nobody wants to admit to the things that they've done because they'd like to keep doing them.
Yeah. So. I also think the reason that a lot of like white people avoid conflict, I don't know if this is true, but like I think because the way that they've avoided conflict has led to severe like physical conflict, they think that raising your voice or disagreeing is always going to lead to that worst outcome. Whereas like sometimes I talk, like sometimes if I get into like a fight with a friend or something and I talk to my therapist about it, I'm like, I get anxiety now. I'm like, oh, like maybe I shouldn't have raised my voice. Like, and it's like sometimes you literally have to feel your feelings. Like sometimes you literally have to raise your voice. And if the other person is not like capable of handling it, then maybe you don't work well together.